Which rule did Norman Reedus break to become part of The Walking Dead? What is the strangest tradition on the set of the show? And how have the new safety restrictions changed the shooting process? Hi, I'm Dan. Let's talk about the guidelines every Walking Dead actor has to follow. And rule number 1 is, be persistent, but leave your ego at home. The fans of the show know that working as a team is the key to survival in the world after the zombie apocalypse. Amazingly, the same rule is valid if you want to be cast in the series. Danai Gurira revealed that the vibe on set is very collaborative. It creates more intimacy on a scene if you're actually working deeply together. She shared, "The key thing is, leave your ego at home. It blocks artistic innovation. But sometimes one has to be persistent and fight for the role, like Norman Reedus did. Daryl has been with The Walking Dead since season 1, and the series definitely wouldn't be the same without him." According to Reedus, when he got his hands on the show's pilot script, he became obsessed with the idea of becoming a part of it, and he was ready to play virtually any role. Much to his disappointment, he found out that the show had already been fully cast. However, that didn't stop the actor. "I was like, just get me in the room. I'll go in and do a guest spot," recalled the actor. Eventually, he was asked to read Merle's lines, and executive producer Frank Darabont was so impressed that he created a totally new character specifically for Reedus. Moreover, he gave the actor the freedom to shape the role, and that's how Daryl began his journey from a supporting role to the show's co-lead. But no matter how much fans love the characters, no one is really safe from a brutal and shocking death. And here comes the next rule: always be ready for a death dinner. The creators of the show swear that a character is never killed off unless their death will have an enormous effect on the rest of the survivors. But every season, at least several of the fan faves have to go, and it's never a ding-dong witch is gone feeling when an actor leaves the show. On the contrary, The Walking Dead has its own long-standing tradition of holding death dinners for those about to leave the show. It gives everyone a chance to get properly sauced and say, "We're going to miss the hell out of you," shared Sarah Wayne Callies, who played Lori Grimes. But if the idea of having a death day party sounds a bit cringy for you, don't worry, you're not alone. This is how Tom Payne described his first impression of this special tradition.
And it was weird. It was like, what is this like cult that I've walked into the middle of? Because everyone's very somber and speeches are made, and it's like having a wake for someone before they've died.
That doesn't mean that it's a totally sad event. According to Lauren Cohan, Stephen Yeun and Michael Cudlitz had one of the best hurrahs in the show's history. Of course, there were tears, but there were also bonfires and games and even karaoke. Usually, the actors get 2 months' notice before their on-screen death. However, sometimes the cast members have to keep this information a secret for months. That brings us to rule number 3. Keep mum about your character's fate. Sarah Wayne Callies revealed that she had to actually lie about Lori's demise in more than 100 interviews so she didn't spoil anything. She found out that Rick's wife was going to die in April 2012, and the scene was finally filmed in June, but Sarah was only allowed to spill the beans after that episode aired 5 months later.
And I was told, whatever you do, lie until November. I've probably done 150 interviews between when I found out and now. And I feel terrible because I've just been straight up lying to people.
But that's nothing in comparison to what Michael Cudlitz had to go through. Abraham was killed off in the 7th season premiere, but the actor had to hide his character's fate from everybody for almost a year. Moreover, Cudlitz had to pretend he was still working on the show. Michael didn't even say anything to his biggest fans, his children. They were at university at the time, so he was afraid that they might accidentally say too much, and there was only one person outside the Walking Dead cast who knew the truth. Obviously, I had to tell my wife, revealed the actor, because she would wonder what the hell I was doing at home. But enough about the rules for the main cast. What about the extras? And here goes rule number 4, created especially for those who play the walkers. Be ready to wear lots of sunscreen. Sounds fun and easy, but that's only the icing on the cake. The hyper-realistic look of the post-apocalyptic flesh eaters is mainly created with the help of old-school prosthetic makeup techniques. First of all, the extras who play walkers have to wear dentures that cover their lips and give the illusion of exposed teeth. In the first seasons of the show, when the walkers were, well, a bit more fresh, the dentures were not needed that often. But the actors had to use dark-colored mouthwash to get that dead mouth look. Then there's the process of applying the elaborate makeup, which includes creating wounds, scratches, and decomposition marks, and being sprayed with fake blood. Also, the extras have to wear contact lenses that mute the color and life from their eyes. By the way, new lenses are designed and hand-painted every season because the eyes of the walkers become more and more dead-looking and cloudy. In the latest seasons, the extras also wear wigs to simulate the idea that their hair is starting to fall out because their bodies are decomposing. And as a finishing touch, the actors are sprayed with a lot of sunscreen because The Walking Dead is shot in Georgia in the summertime. But just looking like a zombie is not enough. If you really want to be an extra on the show, you have to follow rule number 5. Don't blink and stay silent. You might think it's easy to play a walker, but there's a catch. According to the casting requirements, you have to be really skinny. More specifically, if you're a man, your waist must be 32 inches or smaller. And if you're a woman, you have to be a size 0 to 2. Also, you get bonus points if you have large eyes, thin faces, small noses, and long, slender necks. But that's only the first stage of the casting. The future walkers have to go to a so-called zombie school. There, they learn how to move, walk, bite people, and even how to take a bullet. It's tremendously important that the walkers don't look like Frankenstein's monster mumbling about eating brains. They should not walk in straight lines, but rather like people leaving a bar late at night. And they have to keep themselves focused, because walkers aren't looking around for butterflies. They are like lions looking for prey. Also, the extras are told not to blink and to stay absolutely silent. All of the creepy sounds you hear on the show are added in post-production. But enough with the walkers. Let's get to rule number 6. Get ready to train like members of SWAT. There's a reason why Rick and the rest have survived this long in the world of The Walking Dead. They're extremely comfortable with all the different guns and other weapons they use to take on the walkers. And the actors that portray them spend a lot of time mastering these important skills. John Sanders, property master and weapons expert for the show, revealed that they all have extensive firearms training to prepare for the intense action sequences on the show. We train them with live guns as well as with the blank guns, so they understand the difference between the two, he explained. And we bring training professionals, people from the military, from the police force, SWAT team. These experts teach the Walking Dead cast how to handle the guns and other various weapons, and also how to work in a team. Some cast members get really into it. Danai Gurira shared that she kept her practice swords in the trunk of her car so she could keep in shape whenever and wherever she went. I've trained in my garage, my living room, in a pool, and even an underground parking garage, she said. Sometimes she got carried away, and her walls have the dents to prove it. By the way, Michonne's trademark solid steel katana weighs a good 5 pounds. The guns are even heavier, so the actors often carry their plastic versions, which are much lighter but still look cool. But for the fight scenes, the actors use rubber props, which are definitely much safer than real or plastic guns. Also, the tips of the knives are missing. They're added later with the use of CGI. All this sounds pretty serious, so let's now talk about rule number 7, which is funnier than we could have imagined. Be prepared to get involved in a prank war. Although the process of filming The Walking Dead is very intense, the cast members find ways to lighten the mood. For example, Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus have been locked in an epic prank war since the very first season of the show. As the diehard fans might know, Reedus speaks Japanese, and once, when the cast were in Japan, Andrew asked his co-star how to say "thank you for having me in your country." But Reedus taught him another phrase instead, which is "where's the toilet?" And Lincoln actually said that at a press conference. Kari Payton remembers getting caught between the two pranksters. During Peyton's first season on the show, Reedus tried to get him to load a bunch of goats into Lincoln's trailer. "We had a bunch of goats in the kingdom, and he was like, 'Dude, help me get these goats in,'" recalled the actor. "I was like, 'This is my first day, dude. I'm not gonna put no goats in his trailer.'" Oh, those good old days when we didn't know the term social distancing. Unfortunately, our new reality has imposed new regulations that the cast of The Walking Dead have to follow. Rule number 8 says they should all wear proximity tracers. When the show went back into production last fall, its cast and crew had to follow new safety measures. Norman Reedus shared that it includes monitoring how long people are spending time in close proximity to one another, wearing masks and shields, taking temperatures right off the bat, and getting tested 3 times a week. And sometimes it gets really awkward, because every time a cast member approaches the set, he or she is forced to make kind of a grand entrance. I'll show up on set and they'll be like, "Actor on set," and then the people part like Moses and the sea. And I'm like, "Excuse me, coming through." It's embarrassing. The show creators also had to figure out new ways to stage scenes, especially the fight scenes. Anyway, we will be able to see the result of their efforts pretty soon. And while you wait for the upcoming 6 episodes of the show, watch our video about the real-life relationships between the cast members of The Walking Dead. And thanks for staying super awesome.